Hello, thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your April monthly horoscope for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to our channel, we'd be delighted if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you've got some big things going on in your life and you'd like some expert guidance, why not check out my one-to-one testimonials by seeing the link below. It's one of the most enriching parts of my work, working in this way. If you'd like to ascend above your zodiac sign in an affordable way and find out more about what really makes you tick, please check out my personal horoscope reports. There's a special offer on a year's forecast and also a character analysis, 30% off. Please see the link below. Hello Cancer, and welcome to your in-depth monthly horoscope for April. This month begins with the Sun in the part of your horoscope to do with goals, ambitions, worldly interactions, responsibilities, and leadership. And also, of course, this can be an area very much linked to work. And with Venus, the planet of charm, also with the Sun, and both joined on the 4th by Mercury, this gives you a perfect alliance which can see you steer your hopes very astutely during the first 2/3 of this month. Now, it's also true to say that in the first 10 days, Mars, which is trapped in a rather psychological part of your horoscope through to the 22nd, is actually forging a brilliant alliance to Venus. So it's not just the more obvious things that you might do to try to get ahead. You know, we can apply for situations, we can revise our CV, we can launch a website, we can invest in business opportunities. And a lot of that can be a very sort of public process. And the 10th house, where this collection of energies are, can really reflect this. But Mars being in your 12th house suggests that there could be a connection to someone from your past. Now, this can be a very positive situation, or you can gain from past skills and experiences, but perhaps reapplied in a new way with a fresh formula. And that's where the alliance between Mars and Venus can be so good. But also, of course, Mars and Venus are the joint planets of relationships. And Mars in the 12th house can be a bit more secretive. Whereas Venus in the 10th can be a relationship with someone who's older or younger or who we meet through work. So if you're in a situation where you are drawn to someone, it's possible you may want to keep it a little bit to yourself, at least in the initial stages. Now, it is true to say that from the 4th through to the 14th, Mars does forge a more challenging right angle to Neptune. Neptune's in your sister water sign of Pisces. It's very much at home here. It governs this sign. And Neptune is to do with dreams. It's to do with our imagination. It can be to do with spirituality and healing. And for you, the 9th house where Neptune is since 2012 is about your higher values and can be to do with expanding your horizons in sometimes very visionary ways. But its right angle to Mars can see your emotional situation, especially linked to the past and past hurts, because Mars can be about anger. And Mars in the 12th house can be about the subconscious. And you may be surprised that something you thought you dealt with a lot of time and effort, especially if you're interested in personal development, it could show its head again from the 4th through to the 14th. So that 10-day period, you may feel a little more psychologically sensitive. Something can take on a life force of its own. It can feel much bigger, much more vivid. Your dreams can be much greater. I think it's important that if your physical vitality is directed towards your career, your public-facing interactions, your hopes around goals and ambitions, that you're not spreading yourself too thinly. Or if there is something that isn't quite resolved in a deeper sense within you, it would be a very good time to talk to someone who's in a position of influence, who's actually got a lot of experience and wisdom to share, or you could be playing that role to somebody else. Now, it is true to say that on day 12, we have a new moon in your solar midheaven, the 10th house. And this is a fascinating new moon because ordinarily this would help you to link your sense of appreciation of your role in life, matters of status, but with the instinct of the moon to help you to make sure that whatever direction of travel you were taking, it actually felt good. And that may be still entirely possible in the following month. The complication is the role of Pluto in your sector of relationships, and that's square in this new moon. So however much there can be a gust of energy which takes you forwards, there could be some politics. So maybe with a line manager, maybe a colleague, maybe with a partner, if they don't quite agree with some of the plans and projects and strands that you're developing. So just be conscious of that. Also, week 2 sees Venus in a square with Pluto. Now, when Venus and Pluto get into more difficult, challenging aspects, the 8th harmonic, which is conjunctions, squares and oppositions, we can find some level of leverage used around romance, around intimacy and around money. So if somebody seems to pour on the charm if they want you to join their organisation, they may well be completely and utterly sincere. But I think it's worth just withholding your judgment a little bit to try to understand what the true motivations are in this situation, but equally be very conscious of your own. Now in week 2 and 3, the Sun and Mars actually forge a really brilliant alliance. So this means the Sun, in a very visible part of your scope, is collaborating with Mars in a hidden, more secretive area. So it may be that you're doing soundings behind the scenes, perhaps getting in touch with people confidentially just to find out how they feel about things. Maybe your contacts will give you some inside knowledge which can guide your wider moves, and that could be very valuable to you. On the 14th, however, a glorious event. Venus makes her way into your 11th house. If you're in a relationship, the last 2 weeks of this month is all about celebrating the things you have in common. The problem is that because on the 19th, the Sun and Mercury move into this area, which is all very, very good. It sees you becoming much more focused on your social situation, your connection to others, and less aligned to only your career status and public role. So much friendlier, and much more idealistic part of your situation comes to the fore in these last 2 weeks of the month. The key, however, is Uranus, which is going to forge connections to each of the three, and then also with the full moon, which occurs in your sister water sign of Scorpio, the most intense full moon of the year, sees the Sun on the opposite side of the heavens in a conjunction with Uranus. So you may have to make some decisions about friendships, your direction, your longer term direction, the big picture, where you see your more distant future. You may find yourself wanting to embrace some more novel or innovative approaches. You may find yourself moving away from friendships that have sustained you in the past and wanted to mix with more radical type of people who have points of view that are much more to do with the good of everybody, not just the good of the individual. But perhaps the standout event of this whole month in some ways for you personally is the fact that Mars joins your sign on the 23rd. And the following 6 weeks, I have to say, even though Mars technically is not at his best in your sign, he's known as being in full, F-A-L-L, because it's the opposite of where the exaltation is for Mars in Capricorn. It is an opportunity for you to find greater spark, drive, single-mindedness. The psychological impact of Mars moving through the 12th house cannot be underestimated. It can be really awkward, and that's why that right angle with Neptune earlier in the month could see you feeling hypersensitive. But I think Mars moving into your own sign brings you into the present. It gives you a lot of dynamism. You're going to really want to move forwards in a much more physical way. You're going to find yourself more active. If you're someone who likes to run or swim or cycle, you're going to embrace those even more. But the full moon, which occurs on the 27th, can see some kind of revolution going on in your situation. You're either going to want to reinvent your love life or reinvent your social circle. There's going to be some changes, and you may be more impulsive. And people are used to you being someone who's more measured, who thinks very much about calibrating all your efforts around the principles of security, be it home, physical and emotional security, or family relationships, or having a constantness around long-term friendships. But I think the energy of Uranus is pushing you to dare to be the person you really want to be, and not playing quite so safe. Being a little bit more shocking in your approach, whether it's about the clothes you wear, Venus, it's very much to do with style, or it's to do with the type of people you're drawn to and you hang around. And people who give you space, so celebrate your individuality, but still enjoy your ideas and spending time with you. So collaborations is what you're really interested in as this month draws to a close. But collaborations that are fresh, that are real. Uranus is about truth. So you want to be with people who reflect your highest principles of your being, and the truth of those people will be very reassuring to you. So this could see you breaking stale ties that no longer serve your greater good. Stay safe, take care, and goodbye.